Hello, everyone. Well, if it is one thing that I don't appreciate, it is fear mongering. I don't like it. I understand that we need to be vigilant in areas, but when it comes to fear mongering about the weather, come on, guys. Like, from the beginning of time, the earth has cooled and warmed, and that's just the way it is. So I don't really get why people like to fearmonger about weather, because I think it's actually kind of silly. Um, if snow comes, you wear a coat. If the rain comes, you have an umbrella. I understand that people have to prepare, and that is just what people did before modern day technology and electricity. But you can cause a lot of fear in people and an anxiety that is just totally unnecessary. While we cannot change how people respond and create chaos in society, we can choose how we respond to it. Having that fight or flight response is just never a good idea for anyone. One small way that we can help some of this is just to turn the news off. Sometimes I have walked in people's homes and the news is on 24/7, and I'm like, no wonder this person has anxiety. This is what they're feeding their mind and their soul, and it's just not wise. So yeah, sure, know that there is snow and ice coming. That is perfectly fine. But preparation really is your best friend, not the news. Well, you just learn to adapt wherever you're at. You adjust with weather patterns, and I think that's wise. I think you should prepare. We wrap our pipes if it's 0 or in the negatives. Sometimes we wrap our pipes in certain areas like the kitchen, because it does lead to a wall outside. You could also leave your cabinet doors open at times, with the wind chill really, really cold. I think that's always a good idea too. Batteries for flashlights. Let me see. I think I, have filled up our bathtubs several times. Just having water on hand is really handy. And so like the night before a sudden drop in temperature, I will fill those tubs completely full and just shut the bathroom doors for safety. Having your food stocked in your pantry for things like the power going out. Food and water is essential, so that's always a good idea. Jason will use our generator at times, because we do need electricity sometimes, because we are using water for our animals. And so if everything's frozen and we need to fill everything back up, that is always a good plan. Looking at the whole, fear-mongering thing, you really have to change how you view some of that. I try to look at it like I am regrouping with family. I'm slowing down a little bit. I love candles, so it's a good opportunity for me to light some candles, play some games, and just, quietly read a book, enjoy everybody. It's just a really fun time to just kind of slow down, and it just gives us a reason to do the important things. And when we act like the sky is falling in, our kids really absorb our energy and our perspective. And so it's really important for us as parents not to bring that kind of anxiousness into their life. We need to give them a perspective of, hey, this has happened over since the beginning of time, and we don't need to stress out about this, because there are other things that are more important than cold weather coming in. Participating in the anxiousness of, what the news portrays or the world wants us to believe, it really just gives the devil opportunity to project that on our family and our children, who really can't do anything about it. So they'll lose faith in a God who really is our provision and our protection. And that's not what I want to do as their mom. So we really need to change our perspective of how we look at, simple things like weather, or even whatever is going on in the world at the time. So the question is, what do we do as parents and even as neighbors and friends What do we do not to bring that kind of rhetoric into our home and into our lives? Well, I love the character trait gratefulness. Someone told me a long time ago that gratefulness is one of the best character traits, and I thought long and hard about that, but I have to agree with him. I really think it is, because in any situation, I think you can always find something to be grateful for. So if you're fearful, you have to turn that around and really think, okay, so you're analyzing it and you're like, is this really true? And so if you think about, 6 things you're grateful for, those fears really kind of get buried. Your fears might not necessarily go away immediately, but you really have to capture your thoughts. And I start thinking, so I'll just use the example of, all this cold, low branch, all this fear-mongering with the cold air coming in. I start thinking, my storehouse is full because I can for this reason. We have food on hand. My pantry is completely ready to go for, really emergencies or just everyday eating. So I'm very thankful that, God provides. I have a warm bed. We have plenty of blankets. So if the electricity goes out or if we don't have enough heat to warm the house, we have quilts and stacks of blankets that we could cuddle up and get warm, I have a roof over my head, that we just got a new roof this past year, so no leaks. Everything's good there. So very grateful that we have a roof that can hold, quite a bit of snow, and we'll be okay, Lord willing. Sorry, I have this little tickle in my throat, probably because I'm talking too much. Food to eat, warm bed, roof over my head. I have a family. I have children to love and take care of, which is one of my favorite things to do in my whole life. God has just blessed me with people to take care of, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So I have protection from the wind chill. The wind chill is supposed to get pretty cold, but I'm not really a fearful person like I used to be. Boy, if you knew me, and some of you do, I know that some of you are on here that knew me 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And I was a little scaredy cat of, I think, pretty much everything. And the Lord has really freed me of that, and I'm very thankful. But those are just little ways that I've learned how to not let things really bother me. And it's all the practicing of gratefulness. And in a world that is accustomed to fear-mongering, turn the noise off. I promise you, it'll be the best thing you ever do in your life and for your family is turn it off. Turn it off in your head. Physically turn it off if it's in your home. You will find such peace. And not only will you find peace, but when you do the next right thing, someone else is watching and they will learn to be free from the fears that they have as well. So I will wrap this up as I'm heading up to the house now. So prepare your home, whatever that looks like, wherever you live. Help your neighbor. Your neighbor needs help. Your neighbor needs a meal. Your neighbor needs gas for their generator. In any way, help them, because the people you live by is also, it's a ministry, and we help each other. It's community. And just enjoy the adventure of a little pause during this crazy time in our world. Look at those little pauses like they are God's little gift to you as a reminder that the important things in this world doesn't have anything to do with fears or guilt or any of the negative things. God He is so good, even in the difficult times and any hardship that you have. He is a loving God. He is also a very just God. And you cannot have a loving God if He is not just. And you can't have justice without mercy either. So that is what makes him perfect. And I'm just so grateful for life and for breath, and to be able to walk around and enjoy nature, and to live this life. So find where you're grateful for, and I promise you, your fears will dissipate.